Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going down into the icy depths of the Frost Dragon lair by exploring this specific species of dragon, its abilities, strengths and weaknesses. But before we do so, let's warm ourselves at the campfire that are my Patreons. Thanks guys. And after this rather poetic segue, let's take a look at where Frost Dragons stood in terms of power in the great inspiration for Overlord, Dungeons and Dragons. The equivalent of Frost Dragons, the White Dragons were the weakest, tiniest and most animalistic of all the chromatic dragons. But again, this is by dragon standard. Ola Sirdar Kaililial was level 46 before coming up with the brilliant idea of robbing Ein's old gown, meaning that even the Frost Dragons, who at least in Dungeons and Dragons are seen as somewhat weak, are still fearsome ferocious beasts, able to eclipse most of the New World's most powerful beings. Additionally, Frost Dragons learn spells simply by aging, and Kaililial was able to cast magic of the 3rd tier, and among it was a spell that would boost his fire resistance, thus making up for the most obvious weakness any Frost Dragon has, being adept to withstand icy climate and making their home in mountain ranges, and being able to freeze any enemies with their icy breaths, or crush them with their sheer weight and size of their bodies, meant that while they in general weren't able to hold their own against other dragons, they still stood at the top of the food chain in mountainous or snowy regions, only contested by frost giants, with whom they had a natural rivalry, which also can be found in Dungeons and Dragons. But otherwise they could easily conquer weaker species, such as the Quagoar, essentially turning them into their thralls that would provide ample supply for their treasury. Because being dragons and being inspired by chromatic dragons especially, Frost Dragons not only have a natural tendency to develop a certain degree of avarice, but they also prefer to make their lair in the lost ruins of ancient civilizations. In Kaililial's case, this had been the former capital city of the Dwarven Kingdom. And last but not least, in the second Overlord volume, the appearance of Frost Dragons in the Zalesian Mountains had been foreshadowed by Ninya. And finally, 9 volumes later, in the 11th iteration of Overlord, they became the cover enemy of Ein's. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to all of my Patreons listed here. Anyway, have a nice day, over and out.